A Reddit user posted asking if you can get a job doing Google Analytics and Google Tag Manager. And the responses said you can do like a subset of it. Like it can be like 1% of your job, but you have to do SEO or PPC or content strategy. And I commented and said, you absolutely can get a job only doing Google Analytics and Google Tag Manager. And this other person responded and was like, you cannot, you're going to be minimally paid. And I responded, I was like, yeah, I've been paid 5 figures per month, five figures per month for a few years now. What are you talking about? Like, I know I'm not an anomaly because I have coworkers doing the same work, being paid the same thing or more. Because I was at that point, I was at the bottom. So I thought I landed a job in digital marketing. This goes back to I got an ad for digital marketing careers. I decided to take this $99 course at the time. I thought, oh my God, it was like $99 a month or something. I couldn't afford it. So praise God. I don't know how I made it out the struggle. Went to a boot camp. Boot camp was like, hey girl, we ask you to do these things in SEO, paid ads, whatever, and you do them, but you're not like into it. I'm like, no, I'm not into that. I'm into the data. Like, I want to know the story behind the movement, the numbers, the time on page, where they went, but where they didn't go, why they hovered over here and didn't click there, Okay. So I thought I got a job in digital marketing. I moved to Jefferson City, Missouri. I started working at a company called Central Bank. And my job title is Google Analytics Specialist. Why is this important? Because again, Reddit said you cannot get a job doing GA and GTM. I had it. That was January 2020. They gave me a job offer December 2019. All right, if you know anything about the year of our Lord 2020, the Panda Tenderoni happened. And stuff went downhill. It went downhill in the sense of I just started there in January. I believe the first COVID cases were like mid-February-ish. Like, I literally celebrated my birthday, and then we were like locked down. It was like, what? I was just at a concert. What do you mean? And so the job happened to be, they're actually really nice people. They're a nice company. And to be honest, every company I've worked for has been nice. Just it wasn't nice for me. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? And what wasn't nice for me was that I quickly realized they hired me and there was nobody to talk to about this stuff that I'm supposed to be doing. So I said, hold on, red flag on the play. Like, manager lady, what are we doing here? She's like, oh, I figured with all your educational background, the least you can do is read, write, and figure it out. I was like, oh no. This is like worst case scenario for my life, because part of the reason why I didn't like the PhD experience was like not being given clear instructions. Okay, candidacy exam. When? What is it over? What do we do? They're like, and everybody's looking at me like, what do you mean? We just like, you don't know? No, I don't know. Like, somebody have a conversation. And again, I didn't like to talk, so I didn't know how to ask these things. So it's okay. She hired me to do a job that I clearly told her I don't know how to do it. And she was like, it's not really about you knowing how to do it. It's you knowing how to think about doing it. How you know how you want to navigate the software. Like, you were literally sharing your screen and walking us through our accounts. And I was like, oh my God, I did do that. Why did I do that? And so that day, I remember I texted my digital marketing teacher. They told me I was generalist. So I was like, girl, that generalist stuff, that's for the birds, because homegirl just told me I got to figure it out. And she was like, and you do. Welcome to digital marketing. You'll understand what I'm saying here. So she said, okay, well, we're gonna send you to Chicago for training. And this is right before the pandemic hits. I'm like, okay. I go to Chicago for training. The training is hosted by Bounteous, and I can't remember the trainer's name. The room only had about 4 people in it, and he was like a geek at Google Tag Manager. I mean, he was in it. Okay, he was into it. And the thing was, it was not Tag Manager like we're in Tag Manager clicking around and setting up tags, triggers, and variables, and writing JavaScript and all that. It wasn't that. It was the textbook version of Tag Manager. And okay, and by the way, I don't even think I mentioned this. The job title was Google Analytics Specialist. The job description didn't even say Google Tag Manager. It just kept talking about Google Analytics. And the reason why I'm getting so like, I got to Central Bank and I said, what is Google Tag Manager? And they were like, oh, I guess we left that out of the job description. I said, it sounded intentional. And they were like, that's because it's a little technical. I mean, it's not like hard. It's just none of us know how to do it. What you say? Y'all brought me 15 hours to pay me to do something that y'all don't know how to do. That I don't know how to do. I am very confused. And so I was on the phone with this Mark. She was like, girl, what do I do? And she was like, you figure it out. That's what you do. You figure it out. And I was like, I don't think I can figure it out because I did not plan for this. I am the type of person, again, sibling loss. I don't like uncertainty. I don't like risk. I'm really risk averse, okay? I don't like losing time. I don't like making wrong decisions. And Tag Manager is like, let me tell you about the day I took down the login button for the banking customers on the website. They could not log into their accounts. I tell this story at like every interview because the question is, tell us a time when your tagging didn't go so great. I was at this job for a couple weeks, Bounteous as a vendor. Bounteous made a tag, and they're looking at me like, okay, so this is how we're gonna do this because you have to learn it. I'm gonna make the tag, and then you're gonna push the tag live. And I was like, push that tag live. We're looking. He's showing me how to know that it works using preview mode. And I'm like, it's firing. It's definitely firing. The firing is happening. And he was like, okay, so we're good. And I was like, yeah, we're good. Okay, this is the downside of a vendor because a vendor doesn't necessarily know for your internal team, like your internal company, like what things they should be checking for every single time something goes live. Lesson learned, honey. The button to log in was down to people could not go look at their money. And let me tell you, they were calling the bank. Why would I want that to be my first experience? And so I just told you I'm risk averse. I like to be perfect the first time. I like to do what it is that I know. You got me working on tools I never heard of. And Reddit told me that I could never get a job doing this. And here I am doing it. So I'm confused on who else is doing this job and how can I help myself help myself. So I immediately get on the internet. Oh, by the way, at the training, the Bounteous guy was like, okay, so this is the conclusion of the training. Thank you for coming. By the way, when you go back to your companies, you are officially the expert and you probably officially know more than like 90% of the industry. And I was like, what is happening? This is too much and it's too fast. It's too much. So imagine getting all of this, like one that your job is tied to a software that you've never heard of before, even though we're in a digital marketing bootcamp and you work with Google Analytics because again, these are two separate things. And I really wish the industry would know that they're two separate things, but no, we like lump them together. Neither here nor there. Maybe I'll discuss that in another video when I start talking about the career I didn't plan to have. But it left me with tools that I need to learn that I had never heard of. It left me at home working remotely 6 weeks after moving to a place with a team who also didn't know how to do the thing that they hired me to do. And so I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm going to get fired. They're going to fire me. Then people said, wait, okay, number one, we can't fire you because we don't even know what you do. And you're clearly doing something because when people are asking for reports, you're giving it to them. Number three, the times you've had to set up tags, you figured it out. We don't know how you figured it out because we can't tell you. And I'm like, oh, what is going on? I just don't understand. So, but it created the thing in me that would happen in grad school where if I feel like I'm at a knowledge disadvantage, a skill disadvantage, I don't tap into the skills I have. I don't learn that, hey Kayla, you have the ability to go find out how to do something. I don't tap into that. I don't tap into, yes, you took down the login button, but you also remembered very quickly that you can revert changes in Google Tag Manager and that probably will fix it, which is what happened. It was 2 second click. I also didn't remember that this agency existed, and I could message them on, is it called Basecamp? Basecamp tools, guys, tools, project management. Basecamp to say, hey, we got a fire over here, help us out, which is what they did. They found out that basically they put some kind of like timing block on the tag, and that is actually what caused the login to time out with an error. So it could never just convert to the login page. It just blocked, stopped. Okay. Me, why do I care? Y'all stressing me out. That's how I felt. And I literally was like, okay, so I'm at a crossroads. I'm 6 weeks into this job. I don't know anything about Tag Manager. The people are no longer in the office. Like we were sent home, but what I did when I moved there was I wanted to be able to walk to work. Don't ask me why I'm crazy. It's like insanity in Jeff City where there's a hill like this. I used to walk that every day because it was my way of decompressing the fact that, like, how did I land this job in this industry? Like, what is this pivot that has been summoned unto me, placed upon me that I asked for it, but I wasn't really, I didn't know I was asking for it. I didn't know what I was asking for. Okay. So it caused me to start to think like, how do I get out of this? And my brain, I told you, I immediately I quit. My brain was like, I got to get out of here as soon as possible because they're not going to get me before I get them. Like, that's again how my brain works. Like, they can't quit me before I quit them. Like, I have to quit first. Why? How much sense does that make when you were hired at a place that gives you an opportunity to learn as much as you're willing to learn? Hello, somebody. It's a message in there for somebody. Now, I'm not saying if you're in an environment where they're not allowing you to learn, or they're chastising your mistakes, that you should stay there. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you should run from that. But if you are placed in an environment that is testing how you are and why you are, like why the perfectionism when we're all telling you, girl, we don't know what's going on here either. Just relax and be exploratory with us. Like, that's literally what and that ended up being the last conversation I had with the manager, which was, I sent you to that training. I surely thought I would get 3 to 5 years. I barely got 12 months. And I was like, you got exactly 12 months. My last day is on my 1-year anniversary, girl, because you told me that I had to, what did she say? I had to find a way to justify being paid. And again, I'm not telling this story because I'm like against the manager or the company or anything. But in work environments, we often receive messaging that causes us to have a reaction. The context of the messaging probably was more so like, I want you to do more things, step into SEO, or step into designing a project management system, or step into something in addition to what you're doing, like grow. But that wasn't the message I heard. What I heard was, girl, they finna stop paying you because don't nobody know what you do. So good luck. So because of the justify your payment thing, I started to look around because I had to figure out, I was like, okay, I'm at a company where nobody knows what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. But there's this one agency partner who's helping us do what I do. Aha. Apparently, there are whole agencies that are nothing but Google Analytics and Google Tag Manager based. Like, that's it. That's all they do. I know that sounds crazy because when you hear about marketing agencies, typically the marketing agency is like, they do your SEO, they do your paid ads, they do your content, that type of stuff. No, I found that Google Analytics job that somebody said didn't exist. There were entire companies that they only hire people to do those two functions. So I started I went and put in an application, okay? I didn't want to apply at Bounteous because I was like, that would be strange. I thought they would judge me because they know, like, girl, we in here doing old school tagging practices. Like, we're not hiring you, okay? So and by old school, I mean in the field, there's like HTML, CSS tagging, then like developed into the whole JavaScript thing because sometimes you need to write JavaScript in order for a tag to work. But then they have this thing called data layer, and data layer was like the new, this is what everybody should be doing way. Again, we're talking 4 or 5 years ago. The point is, the company I was working at didn't do data layer. They did it the old way. And so I was like, I can't apply anywhere because I know the old way. Lo and behold, I apply at a company. I get an interview. This was, by the way, also the last job that I ever applied for. So the first job in digital marketing as a Google Analytics specialist, and the second job that I was hired as a digital analytics consultant. I've not applied to a job since then, and that was 4 years ago. Follow me, somebody. Reddit told me I could make no money doing this. Hell, I didn't know I could make money doing this. All right. So I apply to this agency. The interview process, it was so weird because we were having the Christmas party at the end of the year. Again, life happens when you're supposed to be playing with your coworkers with the holiday games, and you gotta oh, I think my doctor's calling or something. I got I don't lie well, so I'm in and out, and the director of the team wanted to, not the team, of the analytics wanted to talk to me. And I was like, they just told me I was expecting an offer today. Like, what is going on? Not even an offer, a decision. And the interviews had gone so well. This man wants to meet with me and says, yeah, the reason I want to talk to you is I saw your science background on your resume. And I'm like, something told me to take them doggone degrees off of there. Don't nobody care about this science stuff. This bachelor's in chemistry with a concentration in biochemistry, this master's in biology with a concentration in biotechnology. Like, nobody cares. Why is this on here? It has nothing to do with Google Analytics and Google Tag Manager. He says, I have a biology degree. I said, oh my God. I'm again, if you know the science experience, if you know what it's like to be in a lab, if you know what it's like to be around everybody who aspires to do tier one research work. Okay. All right. He said, I wanted to get on a call with you, and I know it was unplanned, unexpected. So I thank you for your flexibility. That tells me, again, a lot about you. And I said, tell me I'm crazy because I am at these people's job. And he was like, oh, wow, what office are you in? I said, I got this other really cool teammate who basically told them she had a meeting. So she came in here, and then she basically like let me come in to hide in her office. So the light is hello. He was like, okay, I'll make it quick. He said, I want to talk to you because we both come from a science background, and I know the reasons why I left science. So I want to hear from you why you left. And I gave him the list. I said, number one, from day one, it was like a lot of ego, a lot of prestige, a lot of if you went to this school, then that means you can do this. And if you went to that school, well, that means we got to teach you all of this. I said, it makes people feel real small. It gives isolation. It gives, crab in a barrel type of mentality where people aren't necessarily helping each other. They think that the person beside them in lab is their competitor when ain't we all working on the same subset of problems? Help me understand. Just like you want to get your degree, I want to get my degree and get up out of here. Should we not be collaborating? Like, what is going on? And I said, and it was a constant battle to always justify to people why I should be in a place, or, finding a means of saying that while I do care about GMOs, I care more so about how people feel about them and think about them and how that impacts your ability to sell these GMOs. And he said, and that is a different mindset. Never heard anybody have that type of story or that type of deductive reasoning and conclusion from the analysis of what they were experiencing. He said, I just was like, it was a bunch of ego. I'm sick of it and I just want to quit. He was like, you actually have logical story and process and know how it is you want to impact people. And I was like, yeah. I said, and he's like, and it's not driven by, I want to make a ton of money and be rich tomorrow. I was like, no, I definitely want money. Let's be clear. I don't want to be poor. Nobody wants to be poor. Like, I don't aspire only to have money. I aspire to have money so that I can have the ability to do the things I need to do and want to do. And it happens that most of what I want to do is not costly. So I got hired. I don't know how that guy feels about me because I quit that job too. I quit that job 8 months in. So maybe I'll tell that story next. The reason I quit because I don't like that my resume reads like it might read like I am money hopping, but actually I am opportunity hopping. So I started asking colleagues at this agency because I started like recruiters were hitting the inbox. Even the first job by month 3, recruiters were in my inbox about this Google Analytics and Google Tag Manager that you know how to do. This company's hiring, we need it. And I said, hey, do recruiters come to y'all's LinkedIn inbox? And they're like, yeah, all day, like all day. And I'm like, so do you like, is it a scam? Do you respond to like, you know, I just ignore them. I'm like, why do you ignore them? Well, some of them are contract and I don't like contract doesn't feel safe. Like had a lot of feeling behind why they were ignoring these people. And I was like, data collection. You're ignoring them. They're still messaging you. And there's not many of us. I think I'm about to try a yes over here and see what the end gonna be. Okay? Because I don't follow the crowd for the sake of being in, right? I have learned to center myself in my decisions. So it's like somehow wound up at the first Google Analytics job, somehow got on at the agency. The agency, the irony is that they hired me. Remember I said about I didn't know how to do data layer. So I'm over here talking to some kid that, I call him a kid. He's not a kid. A coworker about, how the company's name is AdsWorth, how AdsWorth was treating me. I actually had no problems. I liked it. I liked the pod. I liked the structure that they had. They were the first. It was really the perfect hop because remember, I didn't like being the only at Central Bank and I wanted a team to be able to teach me things. And that's exactly what it afforded me. I was trained by a girl named Camille. Hey, Camille. And she was really, really good. And so what the last director did when the last director that was on the call, the interview with at the company party, he was like, when I hired her, she didn't know anything, right? This is not a place for ego. This is not a place for, more than everybody else. This is a place where be committed to the learning. Huh? And when you learn, do. Oh. And when you learn and do, teach. And I said, okay, I like that. I love that. What I didn't realize, I told y'all I'm vlogging because I don't like to communicate. I don't like to be the center of attention. If it's a room of people, I'm going to be in the back, quiet, collecting data in my head, processing in my head, and having conversation with myself. The 3 things that he just told us to do requires you to, I don't know, give presentations to billion-dollar companies with 200 stakeholders on calls. And that is where I determined that company had hired me for the wrong thing because, honey child, who do you think is about to keep being stressed and anxious that I have to keep talking to these people about their most recent data analytics, Google Analytics tagging setup and where they can find these reports? I'm not going to keep doing this. It's stressful. Meanwhile, the stressful part was the idea of speaking. every presentation, I would get like all the little company kudos, and that client was like, she nailed it, she killed it, she was great. Oh, we understand so much. And the whole time I'm telling my man, I'm spiraling with my manager, like, I can't keep doing this. I can't keep doing this every week. And she's like, what did you think you got hired to do? And I was like, I thought I got hired to learn and do and teach. And she said, what do you think you're doing? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Welcome to my brain. I never know. I'm whole doing something and I don't know. So yeah, that's my little story about being called to do what it is that you do and not even knowing that you're doing it.